Drink, ding, ding, throwdown!
Welcome to the Throwdown.
On this week's Throwdown, Laura Phil Howard demos a workout we're going to call Ouch by Feetsies.
Which is, for time, 200 crossover single unders, 20 shuttle runs, 150 single unders, crossover single unders, 20 shuttle runs, 100 crossover single unders, and 20 more shuttle runs. Woo! Let's see it! Ouch by Feetsies.
Hey guys, today I'm doing training think tanks throwdown, ouch my feetsies. My strategy is I'm thinking about breaking up the crossover singles to start because I know that's going to jack my heart rate up. Shuttle runs, I'm just going to have to keep a good pace and go. All right, let's get it.
Man.
For context,
Did
the
she name
workout
that
is
one?
Ouch by Feetsies.
yeah.
The way she said it was so matter of fact. Mia named this workout.
Yeah. 2, 1, and we're off.
Oh, you had to do it.
Yeah, I missed the 3 too, though.
All right, a couple points of performance. Mia, you've really worked on your crossover singles. You help a lot of people with them. What are the things that people need to think about when they are learning the crossover single under?
So you want to cross your hands around like pocket area, which she's doing a pretty good job on her
We just had a miss.
left
Sorry.
arm, but her right arm comes up pretty high as she crosses. So what that's doing is shortening one side of the rope, which I bet if we slowed this down would be where she trips.
And so you're saying if you're raising that hand up, it's basically moving the rope higher up. You're going to have to jump a little bit higher, or at least it's inconsistent every single jump.
Yeah,
Correct. You want to have your hands by your pockets, but also close to your body.
Yeah, so the right arm right there, when it goes on the left side and it's going back, is like over her shoulder line, and the other one stays by her hips. A good drill that I've found that really works, Molly Metz was out here and did some work with some of the athletes on site, is crossing your hands and then doing single unders with your hands crossed.
That is so much harder than it sounds.
It's so hard.
It's harder than this, for sure,
yeah.
but it's a great drill to try to get the arm in control.
I actually think I saw you do that, Max, and I tried, and it took me like 15 minutes just to get one rep. My wrists just don't work that way.
Yeah, super challenging. But her cross under singles, to be honest, are pretty solid here. They're not.
Yeah,
they're
she's not
bad.
tripping. She's breaking them up for
Yeah.
the most part.
Yeah,
Which
and
she said she was going to do. Oh, I spoke too soon.
Yeah, I mean, but that's going to happen, and
Yeah,
just like
for
a double
sure.
under, you want to stay calm, step back through the rope, and then get going again. Trying to find a rhythm when you're doing these. If you rush into them, then they can create a lot of chaos in the workout.
Yeah, I think these are generally. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like maybe the cross under variations may have lost a little bit of popularity after a year of prescribing them or 2 years of prescribing them. I'm curious if it's going to be something that the Games uses or Wadapalooza uses, but it's really, even if it's not tested in a competitive setting like we're putting in the throwdown, can just be a really good training tool to get control of the rope and your arms and feeling the weight of the rope and just being more skilled with the jump rope.
Something to also practice, she always starts with a single, which means her first jump doesn't count because it's the rep that counts is when you go from your first cross, right?
I think so,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So practicing starting in a cross, it's a little wonky at first, but once you figure it out, it's really not that hard, and it'll save you a second every time you start.
Yeah, and there's way more breaks just in general when you're doing a higher skill like this than if it were just straight single unders. So that ends up adding up if you start missing.
Max talked about they may not come out again, but I think it's now that that's kind of been, that box has been open, you need to practice your crossover singles, and for those that are higher level athletes, practice your crossover doubles just in case they do come out. You probably won't see it in an open, but you could see it in a quarterfinal or a semifinal or another competition that you may do.
Yeah, and something to note, if you've never done cross unders, and let's say you're new to the sport or just getting into it, just like she's using here, don't use your speed rope. It's a more weighted rope will just generally help you there. All right, so a little over 3 minutes for 200 reps, and then we're off to the shuttles. I'm going to keep count. You guys can do points of performance.
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me is making sure that you're changing direction each time. So if you're cutting off your right going down, cut off your left coming back, and just keep that. So especially when you're doing 20 or 30 or even 50 reps like we saw in an open workout, just so you're not hitting the same side like a burpee if you were stepping up only on your right. That's a lot of extra fatigue on one side of your leg.
Yeah,
And
so go ahead.
easy way to do that is to pick a side of the room and always face that side when you're turning. That way you'll make sure that you're always switching your planted extended leg.
So she's running kind of in a circle here. So she's doing basically what you're saying not to do. Do you think it's be detrimental to score, or it's more just like muscular saving?
Long-term health and longevity. And I think it's just really good practice if you do have to sprint, because it blows your legs up a little bit more. So if you're always cutting hard on your right leg, let's say it's the end of a workout and you have 10, you could blow yourself up a little bit more, as opposed to going left, right the entire time.
Yeah, I think it depends on the athlete, because there's a lot of athletes that will say the limiter on shuttle runs is their lower back blowing up. So if you're always cutting in the same direction and you're limited by lower back fatigue, then yes, it is an issue. If that's not something that bothers you, then maybe it's not as big of an issue, but I do still think it's worth making sure that you're alternating sides.
Another thing is practicing the same amount of steps every single time. If we know the shuttle's going to be 25 feet down and back, then practice hitting the same stride every single cut, because then you can know exactly when you're going to get that last step over the line, and it'll allow you to get out of the cut a little bit faster. And with that, along those lines, trying to stay low out of your cut. That doesn't mean like you're actually sprinting or doing like a T cut like you'd see like maybe a cornerback in the NFL do, but being able to get low, touch the line, and then get out of it quickly will save you probably half a second or a second per rep.
Yeah, with such a short distance that you're running, the speed of the run doesn't really matter that much. It's more important getting in and out of the cut quickly, and then you can just kind of cruise on your steps in between.
Yeah. This workout format is not one of those ones where I think you can walk the shuttles. So, there was like the burpee pull-up workout in the open where people walked the shuttles and overall netted a better time. This workout in this format, these shuttles actually will matter, so you have to push the pace a little bit. But I think if you can be smooth and unbroken on the double under, then, you're kind of thinking of it like it's a 60 rep pace, not a 20 rep sprint pace.
Is it because this is just brilliant programming and brilliant workout naming?
Yes, Ouch My Feetsies was the best workout ever created in the CrossFit space.
The naming is the best.
Yeah. All right, now we've done one big round, and now we're going to do the same movements for smaller ones.
Did you count, Max?
I counted a little bit. I counted a bunch of steps. She was 8 steps down and 7 steps back for sometimes, but sometimes 8 in both ways. So the footwork was actually pretty solid. I didn't count. I stopped counting after like 5 when you guys were talking. I got distracted.
Look at these tats. I'm just trying to figure out what are they? Y'all pick anything out here? Is that a V for Vendetta mask at the bottom leg?
V for Vendetta is a great movie.
That is a great
but
movie.
I can't remember what it looks like.
It's a great book.
Enough.
You should read the book.
It's a book?
I'm going to be that guy. Yeah, it's a graphic novel. Alan Moore.
You say that about everything. Didn't you just watch Lord of the Rings and you're like, it was so
Lord
disappointing?
of the Rings movie was trash compared to the books, and I'll die on that hill.
Something to
Mia moved on.
To think about on crossovers that I found is helpful is to not get, quote, lazy with returning into the single under. You'll put a lot of focus on crossing well, but then getting that rope back into place for the single under, if that gets slow, then you're going to trip. So that's something I think about a lot, is like almost snapping the rope back into place for the single under.
Like you're in aggressively and out aggressively with your hands?
Correct. And putting them back like into my hip pocket. So I'm not like whipping my hands back and forth, but I'm making sure that I'm putting my hands back in that hip pocket position out of the cross as well.
It's a really good point, because I've actually seen people break or trip more on the single part than the cross. Everyone's like really focused on crossing their hands, and I think, Mia, to your point, they get lazy when they kind of pull back into the single.
What's going to be the limiter, do you think? Since, Mia,
your
you create...
Feetsies,
you
duh.
You think it really is? Like people will stop just from pain in their feet?
No, I think it'll just be over. Well, if you're limited by crossover skill, then it's going to be getting
skill
through the crossovers. But if you're not, I think it's just going to be a breathing workout.
Yeah, like you just got to push the pace of the run here. Mm-hmm. So it's 20 every round. For some score context, when we did a camp here, we did 50 reps for time. And the fastest times were just sub 5 minutes, which means that people are doing 10 reps in a 1 minute period. Now I'll actually count in time when she gets back here, and then you guys can pick back up.
I don't think 10 minutes in a 1 minute period is going to be realistic here, though.
No. I was just giving context for, hey, if that's max effort, how long is it taking people?
I do think in the last round you probably need to average that, though, right, Mia? Like you're going to have to pick
Yeah, I mean, in the last round you just kind of have to suck it up and
just go
and go for it. But I mean, 10 per minute is moving.
Yeah, she's at about an 8 second per rep count right now, which would mean that she would get like a little over, a little
under 8 per minute. Yeah, sorry.
Got the OG Reebok banner back there. Anybody miss when our sport had money in it?
Man, I haven't seen one of those in a while.
Nice.
Get a Go Ruck one.
Yeah. The Go Rock CrossFit? No, they're not the title sponsor.
No, they're just
just the shoes.
they're a TS sponsor.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the title sponsor is.
There isn't one.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
Do you guys prefer to keep your hips high like she is? So basically she's just bending over, but her hips are staying around the same height? Or would you rather kind of like bend your knees, dip your hips a little bit as you get into the cut?
Yeah, I definitely bend my knees a little bit more.
Sounds like a
than
dance move.
The bend, what
Bend
does?
your knees, dip your hip.
Bend your knees,
Bend your
dip your
knees,
hips.
dip your hip. Can you chop that up into a song for us?
Come on.
Chris just looked
Come on,
at
Mia,
us
let's
like,
go.
please shut up.
I like doing like a swing back, almost like a skater step. I don't know if that's the proper way to say it, but I'll like swing my other leg and keep my body lateral as I'm turning.
So right here, your right leg would cut, your left leg would come behind, and then you would come out of the cut?
Yeah, I'm not really good at left and right, but
Okay,
sure.
sorry. Yep, just say yes.
Yeah. Do you put your hand up like this to see if you have an L?
Sometimes.
You sound like my 6-year-old.
Yeah.
But I'll orient my body towards one side of the room and face that side of the room as I'm cutting. So my foot swings back as I touch the ground, and then I'm in like a lateral position as I'm coming out of the turn.
If you're watching this and you want some footwork technique, we actually put a short out on the YouTube channel. I don't know if they can search that, but if they
We can put it in the description as well. Yeah.
There's a bunch of different ways
I'll
that you can.
I will give it to Chris.
There's a bunch of ways you can turn around, but a lot of it is really just about optimizing, getting your foot in front of that line really close, and just picking a comfortable way to turn around for you that is quick.
So I didn't think there was much deterioration in her shuttle runs.
No.
She stayed pretty consistent. I don't think her speed really slowed down. I don't know her exact splits,
About 2.5
but
minutes there.
just watching, she looked pretty smooth.
Yeah. And
Things
her
look good.
transition was quick, and she went right into the rope, and they look about the same as they looked in the beginning. So overall, it seems like pacing wise is pretty solid up till this point.
A little cheat code on crossovers
Up,
is
down, down, left, right.
A, B,
Start,
A, B.
select.
yeah, that is to get a rope with long handles. I think that helps a lot. It just gives you a little more room for error. I don't know if she has long handles or not. I can't really tell.
It
but,
doesn't look like it.
Jumping rope has, it's not a beaded rope, but it's a thicker rope with a long handle, and I think it's really good.
Does
I think it's called a
anyone-
hybrid coated cable rope.
Does anyone still use the rope I use? What is that? RX with the. Remember
RX
those were
Spark?
like all the rage in 2013.
Oh, yeah, it's got
Does
the metal
anyone still-
handles
But
on
I
it.
don't ever see anyone but me using that thing anymore.
Because they're too heavy.
It's
Too
so
heavy?
loud when you do double unders too. Shoo, 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 shoo. Sounds like Star Wars.
Speaking of banners, check out that
Nice. That was a good set. Just
Rain
got it quickly.
CrossFit banners.
I didn't know.
collab.
Yeah, who is that? Well, I mean, I know who Rain is.
It looks like it's
but-
their CrossFit Gym's banner, but
A
then
little
Rain's
competition
on
they
it.
did.
Oh, maybe they're just sponsoring.
What's the most amount of range you've
There's-
drank in a day?
Oh, never mind.
0.
0.
Chris
I've
did
never
like
had
10.
one.
Yeah, I've never had one.
I was drinking 3 at a day at one point.
No, with coffee also?
No.
Oh, okay.
Let's
All
not
right,
get
so
too
final
crazy.
set. It looks like she's picking up her cadence a little bit.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah, I think this is a time that you should be able to kick. Unless your feetsies are really ouchy at this point, this is really the time. I think if you push some of the earlier shuttle runs, it can, especially if you're missing jump ropes, I think it could ruin your overall time. Like you'd basically lose more time on the rope than you'd save from going hard. But here, I think it makes sense to drop the hammer through the finish.
And you know what the hardest part of this workout is, or would be for me, is counting 20 shuttle runs every time.
She did look like she was trying to talk to somebody on the side who maybe was counting. Did we put a counter up? Maybe I should have counted the whole time. We
She
could
has
have.
someone. I just heard someone yell,
Oh, okay.
or at least someone is encouraging her to go fast. Those first
go,
5
go.
reps were much faster. She's kind of settled into a pace now. She's still getting out of the cut a little bit faster than she was in those earlier sets, which actually we talked about getting out of the cut fast, but one of the ways you can also blow yourself up is by kind of accelerating too fast out of the cut earlier on in a workout like this. So just be conservative and then try to pick your pace up
Yeah,
as
we
you
say
go.
kick to finish, but you're still going to be if you're doing that 10 per minute, that's 2 minutes of
Right.
running still. So you can't full on sprint right away. But I like focusing on just moving my feet faster, like quick little
Shuffles.
pitter patter steps. and to try to move faster that way when my legs are blown up.
She is moving at, like, I don't know if you're just watching, it might look like it's at about the same pace, but she's basically averaging almost a second per shuttle faster, and over 20 reps, that's 20 seconds cut off in the shuttle. So
that's a lot.
It's just a minor uptick in pace that is a sprint pace if you're doing something for 2 minutes when it's running based.
Yeah, you're not going to see someone like open up into a strong stride here with this setup. It's about getting out of the cut fast and moving your feet fast.
Yeah, and it's she's almost at minute 14 right now, so it's a long workout to be at this point sprinting full speed.
Check out that middle school chair over there on the left.
Chris.
Yeah, Chris, you just noticed everything in this gym.
Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep
the brick
going.
walls in the back.
Great job.
Nice. Great work.
1407,
Job, Lauren.
solid. I wonder how her feetsies are doing.
They're probably ouchies.
Let's see.
Definitely a good idea to break on the crossover, because that hurt my feet.
Oh,
Shuttle runs are easy. That was fun. The crossovers though hurt my feet. We saw I tripped a couple times, but good one. Think tank.
Thank you.
solid work.
Well done.
The name was aptly named? I think that's a phrase. Cut that out, please.
Do I get a raise?
Nope.
Oh.